Good evening. We begin with concerns tonight about BC's stubbornly high COVID case count and a potential third wave on the horizon. This on the one-year anniversary of sweeping restrictions that transformed our province.
Despite the vaccine rollout ramping up, hospitalizations keep climbing. CTV's Penny Daflos reports on whether BC is about to hit a third wave of the virus.
With the mild weather and spring break underway, it's easy to take our minds off the pandemic in the fresh air, but experts warn
the numbers are going up. Community-based transmission is in place.
While Ontario saw a bigger spike over the holidays, BC has had more infections per capita for months, and our infections have been growing faster than both Ontario and most of the country. So while Ontario doctors are warning,
there's no doubt that we're entering the third wave, but just the question is, what's our growth going to look like and how steep is that curve?
What about a third wave in BC? Conway says Ontario has twice as many variants, and we'd have to see a spike rather than a slow growth in our cases. And while we likely won't hear the same stark and intimidating term of third wave,
I think we'll see Dr. Henry speak of a significant and worrisome increase in the 7-day rolling average. We'll see her speaking of the reproductive rate and the need for us to intervene to restore some sort of equilibrium. It's explaining the same phenomenon, it's just using slightly different words.
When asked about the caseload and hospitalizations growing roughly a third in the past month, the Premier didn't mention more restrictions or ramping up testing, focusing on vaccines instead.
I wait anxiously for the sheet to arrive for each day's count, just as you and the media and people across BC do. I'm confident that we're in a good place. We are going from scarcity of vaccines to abundance.
Conway believes the strategy underway now is, rather than bring in new restrictions people are unlikely to follow, health officials are encouraging people to socialize outside, so they're more likely to follow the rules indoors, where they're much more likely to become infected.
A final note, the likelihood of a third wave depends a lot on variants. We're at 20% of cases right now, but that's growing. Can't tell you today's numbers, though, because officials say there's a problem with a special lab that finds them. That's the second time this week we're hearing about an issue with variant data. Scott, Nijang?
Okay, thank you, Penny.